Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is September 8th, 2023. We are in the Old Testament, and we are in the book of 1 Samuel, and we're going to read chapter 28 today. All right, so we have David has run and hid amongst the Philistines, which was kind of a shrewd move on his part because he knew Saul wouldn't follow him there, and he knew that the Philistines understood there was animosity between Saul and David. And so long as he could convince the Philistines that he was going to be on their side and he was raiding Israeli villages, they were going to be happy with him. And he actually ended up getting a little far away, so they didn't realize that he was actually raiding the other villagers, the Amalekites and the people a raid with the Philistines. A little bit of a flaw in his in his thinking. Because what's going to happen when the Philistines actually decide, okay, this is it, we're going to go against Saul en masse, what's going to happen with Saul? And we see that the king says, hey, David, you're an enemy of Saul, come and join us. So, again, David's got a bit of a problem showing up here. But we're going to skip ahead, or we're going to push that resolution of that problem ahead a little bit, because we're going to get one more vision of Saul here. So the Philistines have now risen up against Saul. And this is looking like the final big battle. It is definitely army against army, nation against nation. So Saul needs some advice. Now, he can't go to the prophets because there aren't any more prophets. He drove them all away. Can't go to the priests because he killed them all. He can't go to any of the advisors. He drove them all away. So we see that the final outcome of Saul's vendetta and his attacks against David has left him almost totally alone. And he decides, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one thing that God has forbidden me and anyone else to do, which is go talk to the dead. And the scripture, or this section of the scripture points out that Saul's the one that drove all the mediums out of the nation. So he understands this is an evil thing that he's getting ready to do, but he's going to do it anyway. And he has Saul raised from the dead. Now, is it really Saul that comes from the dead? Is it a demon? I don't know. But the point that this scripture gives us is that Saul is that's it. He is now hit rock bottom. We've been seeing his descent for a while. He's finally hit rock bottom. He cannot go any lower. This vision, whatever it is, whether it's Saul or not, reiterates what God told him. David's the king. You've blown it. In fact, not only have you blown it, and not only is your line going to end, it's going to end tomorrow. That's the message that Saul gets. So let's go ahead and we're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 28. Now it happened in those days that the Philistines gathered their armies together for war to fight with Israel. And Achish said to David, you assuredly know that you will go out with me to battle, you and your men. So David said to Achish, surely you know what your servant can do. And Achish said to David, therefore I will make you one of my chief guardians forever. Get rid of these for a little better. Now Samuel had died, and all Israel had lamented for him and buried him in Ramah, in his own city. And Saul had put the mediums and the spiritists out of the land. Then the Philistines gathered together and came and encamped at Shunem. So Saul gathered all Israel together, and they encamped at Gilboa. When Saul saw the army of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. And when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him, either by dreams or by Urim or by the prophets. Then Saul said to his servants, find me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, in fact, there is a woman who is a medium at Endor. So Saul disguised himself and put on other clothes, and he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night, and he said, please conduct a seance for me, and bring up for me the one I shall name to you. And the woman said to him, look, you know what Saul has done. Now he has cut off the mediums and the spiritists from the land. Why then do you lay a snare for my life to cause me to die? And Saul swore to her by the Lord, saying, as the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing. Then the woman said, whom shall I bring up for you? And he said, bring up Samuel for me. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Saul, saying, why have you deceived me? For you are Saul. And the king said to her, do not be afraid. What did you see? And the woman said to Saul, I saw a spirit ascending out of the earth. So he said to her, What is his form? And she said, An old man is coming up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed down. Now Samuel said to Saul, Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? And Saul answered, I am deeply distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God has departed from me, and does not answer me any more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Therefore I have called you, that you may reveal to me what I should do. Then Samuel said, So why do you ask me, seeing the Lord has departed from you, and has become your enemy? And the Lord has done for himself, as he spoke by me. For the Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand, and given it to your neighbor David. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord, nor execute his fierce wrath upon Amalek, therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. The Lord will also deliver the army of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Immediately Saul fell full length on the ground and was dreadfully afraid because of the words of Samuel, and there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no food all day or all night. And the woman came to Saul, saw that he was severely troubled, and said to him, Look, your maidservant has obeyed your voice, and I have put my life in my hands, and heeded the words which you spoke to me. Now therefore please heed also the voice of your maidservant. Let me set a piece of bread before you, and eat, that you may have strength when you go on your way. But he refused, and said, I will not eat. So the servants together with the woman urged him, and he heeded their voice. Then he arose from the ground and sat on the bed. Now the woman had a fatted calf in the house, and she hastened to kill it. And she took flour and kneaded it, and baked unleavened bread from it, and she brought it before Saul and his servants, and they ate. Then they rose and went away that night. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.